Hey ho hey ho hey. Just want to give a little lesson in democracy, number 46, related to defining certain words. We've been using the word democracy a lot. But guys, what about using the word republic? Okay, and I mentioned it by filming a video where I show one page of the Sandman comic strip from DC Comics, I believe. So here's a Google finding defined republic. So here's one definition from Oxford Languages Dictionary. A state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch. Does that apply to you? Archaic. This is just, let me see if it has a more example. Okay, so here's under the same website a group with a certain equality between its members. Maybe the first part could, be what the illusion of what Canada portrays be accurate. But this part, yeah, I don't think anybody buys the illusion of equality here anymore. So we are not a republic, which is what you guys call a democracy, because not a lot of people are using the word republic. So let's look at a different one here, a different definition of republic, and you guys can let me know if it fits. Okay, this is Merriam-Webster. 1A. 1A1. A government having a chief of state who is not a monarch and who in modern times is usually a president. 1A2. A political unit such as a nation having such a form of government. 1B. A government in which supreme power resides in a body of citizens entitled to vote and is exercised by elected officers and representatives responsible to them and governing according to law. Hey, this one here is, I like that it says in a body of citizens entitled to vote, because even of the same age, it seems that within the lifespan of even our parents, somebody my age, and definitely grandparents, is this has not been the case. So if you say, let's say, Canada has been a republic or a democratic country for this long, then you're beaver shitting yourself, right? A political unit, such as a nation having such a form of government, and then 1C, a usually specified republican government of a political unit. Hey, I should do vlogs where I define republican, democratic, liberal, and then we'll see if that fits, and we'll point out all the incongruences in these silly, silly titles people use to create Tribe versus Tribe, and they don't even fit the definitions, and nobody seems to notice. One, no, this is two. A body of persons freely engage in a specified activity. And three, a constituent political and territorial unit of the former nations of. Okay, well, this is specific to a country. Let's find two more definition sources. But I also wanted to say, guys, that so far we have not found anything about how often the people that can vote can do it or request to do it, and on what and in what way. Because, I mentioned that, our species continuously falls behind on the concept of modernity, and that includes the principles of democracy, where we have access to the internet, and yet there's less voting about less subjects, and these subjects are less likely to be easily defined on the internet in reliable ways. So, in a way, the attack on democracy is from people that are pro-democracy by not having these conversations, by not creating websites that, instead of pointing the finger at people, but just educates people. So again, I've been falling back a lot on this. Democracy only works with an educated population, and I've traveled not just in Canada but other countries, and I tell you, I have not discovered any kind of society or proto-society where the population is educated enough to accurately, based on the definitions of republic or democracy, engage in such a phenomenon. Okay, let's go look at another definition. This one is from Wikipedia. A republic, based on the Latin phrase res publica, public affair, is a state in which political power rests with the public. Now, by the way, we'd have to define political power. Rests with the public and their representatives, in contrast to a monarchy. It's interesting how they often compare it to that, almost as if there was only two choices. Representation in a republic may or may not be freely elected by the general citizenry. In many historical republics, representation has been based on personal status, and the role of elections has been limited. This remains true today among the 159 states that use the word republic in their official names as of 2017, and other states formally constituted as republics, as are states that narrowly constrain both the right of representation and the process of election. Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but even Canada is one such place, right? Let's say I want to get the support of the NDP to become an MP. Well, it's kind of like the church, right? It's either you think like us, you act like us, or not, and this is, the result of getting our support or not. So in a way, people that are working within these systems, whether they have been the ones that have been voted in or not, they kind of guide, more of the domestication process than the democracy process. Not finished this Wikipedia definition. The term developed its modern meaning in reference to the constitution of the ancient Roman Republic, lasting from the overthrow of the kings. Okay, so I won't finish reading that. You can read that. I wanted to say about the Roman Republic, which in a way also reflects the comic strip that I included recently in this series. In my master's degree, because there was a focus on leisure, right? Because they wanted to elevate their status as a university to join a lot of fake academics. And if anybody wants to challenge me on that, it's not like I haven't challenged you before and you ignore me. So yeah, if you're ready now, come participate in a public debate with me. Send me your best, please. So yeah, I don't want to waste my time with just people that you kind of force to join a public debate, but that is believing so much in their competence that it's easy for me to demonstrate that they don't. That's kind of annoying. It would make me just go after your top people just for wasting my time. So I believe one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, and again, this applies today. Okay, every proto-society, because we've never achieved society, we've never achieved true civilization. If you look up that definition in the history of our species. So if you look up the proto-civilization that may or may not have been stable at some point, but stable in a way where, again, if you study it, it's very inhuman and shameful, right? That proto-civilization crashed in big part for the same reasons as before and today, which is the inequality of people to receive or have access to not just resources to meet their basic needs, but also leisurely activities. I've mentioned this in my master's degree. Another thing I mentioned in something that came after, but that followed my master's degree, and that I recently sent to a librarian, who I hope will read. And it says in that 2.6 time capsule is that I'm using the word republic in a lot of countries. So if you look up the exact name of countries, there are countries that are not at all republics and they'll put in their name. So in a way, if this is allowed in the United Nations, that they join with that name, and nobody says, well, do you mind changing your name because you're this is the real definition of republic, and it's pretty obvious. You brag that it's not this, but you also brag about the name. Right? Then we have to, United Nations. Okay, let's look at another one. This one is Britannica. Republic, form of government in which a state is ruled. By the way, we have to define state at some point. You guys, don't believe it means the United States, for example. State is just an independent nation. Here, let's see. I'll put my button over, and it doesn't do that. It only does it with Wikipedia. Is a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. That's more specific. Nice. Modern republics are founded on the idea that sovereignty rests with the people, though who is included and excluded from the category of the people has varied across. Man, the people primates enslaving themselves, it never goes away. Because if you say citizen body, you would think, yeah, everybody that's a citizen, whether they're there at the time or not, or birth or whatever it is. And now again it says, yeah, it's been even today, like many nations, including Canada, the United States, is like we have unequal rights as citizens, even though people might fall under the same category of citizen if, let's say, just defined by birth, right? So again, a successful republic, a successful democracy, well, only if you beaver shite yourself into believing such things. But the truth is that we have been failing at these concepts since we started using these words. We've never successfully even stabilized a proto-society. Okay, I'll just finish this definition, but there were some other ones too, but this video is getting long. From the category of people has varied across history. Because citizens do not govern the state themselves, but through representatives, republics may be distinguished from direct democracy, though modern representative democracies are by and large republics. The term republic may also be applied to any form of government in which the head of state is not a hereditary monarch. We're starting to see different ways here to define democracy and republic. And then it continues, but I'm going to save it for a part 2.